you can do this bag in one day. This side of the chicken bag has a face, and also the other side, of course. This saves so much time and money. I love it! There are currently two problems existing in my life simultaneously. The first one is I need a smaller bag. This is my trusty bag. I made it over, I don't know, took me about a couple of months, early this year. And I love this bag, it's great, but I can't use it for every occasion, because there have been a couple of times this year where I went to concerts and other venues where I wasn't allowed to bring this size of bag. It's quite big. It's too big to go into some concert houses. So that's out of the picture. That's the first problem. The second problem is I need to find a way to express my love for chickens. So I thought those are two problems I can solve with one solution. Make a chicken bag. So I did that. I think I saw this pattern for a chicken coaster and I thought yes. I need a bag, a smaller bag, and I need this chicken. So I typed in chicken bag on Pinterest and you immediately find thousands of chicken bags, so I was not the first one thinking of this, but I wanted to try my own chicken bag thing. I was very inspired by the things I saw on Pinterest. I immediately went to my yarn stash and picked out some yarns that I thought maybe would fit the vibe, because I want this bag to, first of all, it needs to look like a chicken, it needs to be recognizable as a chicken, and second of all, I want this to go with clothes that I would wear if I want to go to a concert. So kind of stuff like this. I wanted this bag to be passable as an evening bag, even though it's a chicken and it will be crocheted. So I'm not sure if I achieved that, you can be the judge of that, but these are the yarns I picked. I tried to combine either two threads of the same yarn or multiple yarns together, because I don't want this to be a project that takes 2 weeks. I want this to be a 1 weekend thing, and I achieved that. So if you want to make this crochet bag, it will only take you probably 2 days. I think if you have a lot of time, you can do this bag in one day, I think. I took my time over the weekend. Yeah. If you want to also make a chicken bag and you want written instructions, there are a lot of free patterns online for different kinds of chicken bags, but I'll show you how I did mine, okay? So the first thing I did is I started with one side of the chicken bag, that's the front. I used a hook size 4.5, so it's rather tight. And that's also something I would recommend, because otherwise your bag will be very floppy. So it holds up a bit on itself. And now I'm going to show you how I did the other side, which is an exact copy. Yeah. So I started with the magic loop. I made 10 double crochets in total, and with the second row I doubled all the double crochets, so at the end of that row I had 20 double crochets. I chose to do the sides of the chicken with double crochet rows. If you would do this chicken only in single crochet, it would be a lot more structural and it would hold up better on its own. But in my case, I noticed that the single crochet rows kind of swallowed the black yarn. So it looked a lot lighter and I wanted it to lean more into the darker side. Yeah, and then I made the third row with the first stitch was 2 double crochets in one stitch and then a single double crochet in the next, and so on and so forth. And with the fourth row I just looked one row below, and if there was an increase I also made an increase in the first double crochet of this increase. And I did that for, let me count it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows. So then I started to break the circle, and with the next row I skipped the first increase from the row below and just double crocheted along until I hit the second increase. from the row below, and then I continued with making an increase and then making the double crochets until I hit the next increase. And when I was about 3/4 of the circle, I ended right where the next increase would have been, and then I worked my way back around. And also I noticed that my increases, because I stacked them on top of each other, they were not building a perfect circle, but they were making kind of edges along the way. So I offset the increases. Yeah. With offset, I mean I made the increases of the new row right in the middle of 2 increases from the row below. Yeah, I did that twice. When I had reached the size I wanted, I crocheted along the top edge of the bag and tried to even it out a bit so it would form a straighter line where the opening of the bag will be. So I started with the last row of the side, which are these half circles all around. Every circle consists of 8 triple crochets. When I made the row of half circles on the front facing side of the chicken, the first half circle of double crochets was going to be the head of the chicken. Then I slip stitched maybe 4 stitches and then started up doing half circles around the curve of the bag, because I wanted to leave room for the details of the chicken head. With the back facing side, I made the slip stitches right before the last half circle, so it would line up with the head of the chicken on the front facing piece I had already made. Then I laid 2 pieces on top of each other, right sides facing out, and crocheted the head portion of the chicken together with double crochets, increasing every other stitch because I wanted the head to be bigger. I also made the flap, which I wanted to look like the wing of the chicken. So I did the same thing for the flap. I started with the magic loop and made my rounds around. And when I had my 5 rows, I also broke up the circle and crocheted around to the other side, but only for 1 row. I also made the half circles around the flap, but at the bottom of the flap I made a buttonhole because there I wanted the button to go later. The thing missing now is the bottom of the bag, which I did in single crochets only, so it would be very tight and would give the bag a bit of structure and sturdiness, starting with 2 single crochets and increasing at the beginning of every row until I was at a width of about 5 centimeters. I measured it to the side pieces, starting from right below the head of the chicken, and when I was 2/3 of the way done, I started decreasing once every row until only 2 single crochets were hitting right where the end of the chicken was. So now it was time to stitch together the pieces. I took the black cotton yarn and stitched the pieces together. I stitched on the bottom of the bag to one side of the chicken at a time, and I stitched it on right below the row of half circles. Once I had one side of the bottom stitched on, I turned it around and placed the other side of the chicken bag on top so that I could stitch on this second side to the bottom. With the second side, I also used some stitch markers to keep those 2 pieces together, so that I could just focus on stitching it on and it would not slide around and then be uneven in the end. So I used some stitch markers to keep it in place, and that helped a lot. Yeah, and then I could just stitch on the second piece to the bottom. To make the comb of the chicken, I used this black cotton. In one stitch I made 1 double crochet, 1 half treble crochet, 2 treble crochets, 1 half treble crochet and 1 double crochet. So this package of crochets I repeated going along the top of the head. Yeah, and that was my comb. And to make the wattles, I think it's called wattles, I just googled it. Those are the bits that are on the bottom half of the head. I made also this kind of package. 1 double crochet, 1 half triple crochet, 2 triple crochets, 1 half triple crochet and 1 double crochet. Yeah. And to make the beak, I used this orangey yellow kind of cotton, and I just started with the bigger part of the beak. I closed it to a circle and decreased every row, twice every row, until I was at the point. Yeah, and then I stitched it on. First I thought, I'm going to make the top of the chicken head with red, just like the normal chicken would look, but I think then it would turn out too colorful and I wanted it to be kind of a blackish vibe. Yeah, so it in my head could pass as a black purse, which is definitely not the case, but I'm going to use it as a black purse. And then I sewed on the buttons I had, the eyes I sewed the eye buttons on each side just together in one go, so they are anchoring each other. And then I made the straps. My husband printed out these pieces so I could adjust the strap, so the strap would be adjustable, which is so great that you can just print it out. This saves so much time and money, because I'm not sure I would have ever found these pieces in black and in the exact same size I wanted them to be. Yeah, so I used those, I made the straps, I just crocheted along in single crochets back and forth. Yeah, and then I sewed on the straps. I made it so I could adjust the size, and then the chicken was done. This is my chicken bag. Ah, I love it. Have a look at this. Yeah, that's my chicken bag. You can open the flap. I put some wool in. Now I have a little chicken bag that can come with me on any kind of event I want, where my big bag is not allowed. Also, yeah, I think if you just need your phone and the wallet and keys, you are better off with a little bag, because if you are going to a venue, a concert or anything of that kind, there are lots of people, and if you have a huge bag, that's just in the way. With this one, it's just tiny and small. You can jump around, you can dance to music, you can do everything you want with this kind of bag. Yeah, I highly recommend you also make a chicken bag. This side of the chicken bag has a face, and also the other side, of course. Yeah, now I just need to find a chicken themed party. Need something? Wool, for example? Yeah, if you don't stick anything in the bag, it falls flat, and you can roll it up, you can fold it, put it into your luggage, take it anywhere. Yeah, it's very lightweight. Yeah, if you try it yourself, please tell me. Please show me the pictures, okay? I need to know. Yeah, I hope it was understandable. I hope that you could kind of follow along if you wanted to. Yeah, thank you. I'm going to find a chicken party now. Bye.